Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Today's topic is how to build a portfolio, an asset portfolio worth $100,000 equivalent. Of course, it can be in the currency wherever country you're in. However, we're going with US dollars because why not? There are a number of ways to do this, and I will walk you through them as best I can. The first way is with around 500 US dollars per month. If you are able to put away 500 US dollars per month, by the end of the year, you will have 6,000 US dollars. In 10 years, you will have a portfolio of around 60,000 US dollars, unless you've been sprinkling some extra cash in there over the time. It will take you roughly around 16 years from that period when you first started to have a portfolio with 100,000 US dollars. If you have $1,000 per month, this of course speeds things up. $12,000 a year, it takes you roughly around 8.25 years to have a portfolio of 100,000 US dollars. However, we live in a world of investing and there are many other ways to make that process speed up a little tiny bit. If you have $500 a month that you were able to put away towards investing, after a year, once again, same numbers, you'll have 6,000 US dollars. However, if you put it into an investment vehicle, that can be stocks, bonds won't usually get you the numbers that you need. I would say mutual funds, and there are a couple of other things as well, depending on how risky or not risky you are. I've covered that in other videos. You should be looking for getting anywhere around a 6% return. Of course, there are methods to get you higher returns. However, 6 is typically the average you should be aiming for when it comes to all of this. The $6,000 that you put into the market at a 6% interest rate gets you around $360 by the end of the year. So you have the 6,000 and then you have the 360 sitting on top of it. The following year, you are no longer just working at the beginning of the year with that $6,000. You are now working with $6,360. At the end of the year, the 6,000 that you also would have accumulated from the 500 you've been putting in every single month at a 6% interest rate would get you 12,360 US dollars. I think that's the exact number. It could be 6,360 twice, but let's go with the 6,000 on top of it already. $12,360 at a 6% interest rate at the end of the year would get you 741 US dollars from the 12,000 that you already had inside. That's the extra interest from the 6% on top of it. The following year, you're no longer working with the other money that you had. You're now working with $13,101, which is going to then also have that 6% interest rate on top of it as well. And it kind of continues things a lot quicker. So after 2 years, you've made essentially $1,101 for doing absolutely nothing, for simply having it inside of an investment vehicle. So the first topic that we were talking about, simply putting the money away and saving it inside of your bank account, I would also not avoid. However, inflation is a real thing, and your money sitting inside of your bank account is not going to do a lot, as opposed to if you have it inside of an investment vehicle that is getting you 6 or above % per year. This cuts off years of needing to wait to be able to get to that $100,000 goal. And that's how compound interest works. It is one of the mysteries of the world. Same exact thing works with dividend investing, which we spoke about on the channel before. As far as if you have a dividend stock or something that pays out dividends, this money then should be immediately reinvested into the actual fund that you're trying to do to build up the $100,000 asset portfolio. Mathematically, if you look at charts, if you look at websites, if you look at articles, the stock market, through the ups and downs, yearly has given a return of roughly 8.1%. This is why I gave you the 6. 6 is a very realistic number. Mathematically, 8.1 for the actual stock market is what we've been getting per year. So if you happen to invest in the stock market in blue chip stocks, stocks that are very, very strong and trustworthy, that we also went over in another video before, as opposed to the 6%, you're now getting 8%. Your dividend rate, which you should also be roughly going for, is a dividend rate above 2.5% to around a good 6%. Once it gets to around 10, 11, 12%, these companies aren't as that they're a little shaky at that point. So not only are you now dealing with an 8% as opposed to a 6% interest rate level, you're also getting a good chunk of change from your actual dividend stocks as well, which nearly every single platform has this. Any dividends that you get from the actual stock can then be automatically reinvested into the stock to actually buy more stock. So at the end of the year, the same exact thing with the compound interest and the 6%, year after year, how you're getting all this extra money. The extra money from the dividends will be used to buy more stock. And after every 3 to 4 months, you'll continue to get that extra dividend because you now own more stocks in the previous quarter that you did before. It tumbles out of control. It's not terrible to have to wait 16 years, what have you, to be able to have a portfolio of $100,000. And I say it's not terrible because I've met many people who've been adults for more than 16 years and they do not have $100,000. They barely have $3,000. That is not a joke. That is just the reality of many people around the world. So the fact that they could, or you could, have an extra $100,000 just sitting somewhere as a backup, as an emergency fund, as an investment fund, as something you plan on pushing into real estate, that's absolutely fantastic. And I think this is something that everyone should vie for. It's not very difficult. It's just a matter of putting money away and mathematically knowing exactly where it's going to be allocated and how much of it is going to be flipped over to the next year. I would recommend this. That's me, my recommendation. Your portfolio can also be greatly helped by creating a business. If you've been paying attention to the channel, which kind of business do I suggest? An online business. I would suggest creating a business where the income that you make from this business exclusively goes into your investments. It is not difficult at all to start a business where every month you are receiving or creating or generating or making an additional $200 per month. I mentioned before in other videos, with a good, not a crazy amount of effort, you can make an extra $500 to $1,000 per month. It takes about a year or so of consistently being in that business to get it honed down to exactly what you're trying to do. It's not difficult after a year to really get it down and to start making $1,000 per month from your online business. It just takes dedication and it just takes time. That extra $12,000 or even $6,000 per year that you're going to be getting from that online business can then go exclusively into that portfolio, and the time that it would have taken, the 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 years, gets reduced dramatically. Can you imagine, for instance, at the end of the year from your online business, if you have an additional $6,000 and that goes directly into a stock that's been doing very well for the last couple of years, you're getting an 8.1% return on that and also a 4 or 5% dividend from the actual company, you'll hit $100,000 in no time. The issue is you just have to start. You just have to begin somewhere and then kind of consistently do that, and eventually you'll see changes. I'm pretty sure that this isn't the first time you've heard this, or that you've done something in your life daily over and over, back to back, and you see, oh, it makes a really big difference. It's just about starting somewhere. A lot of times we have an issue with, we look at the now and then look at the past and go, oh, if only I had started, as opposed to being like, if I just start now, in 5 years, when I have that self-reflecting moment again, I go, I did start. I'm halfway there. I have no problem. If I continue for another 5 years, another 4 years, I'm also going to get there. And I have a portfolio that's worth $100,000. $100,000 is a lot of money. You can do a lot with $100,000. Imagine over the course of, it takes you even, maximum 10, 12 years to get a portfolio of $100,000. That's an investment property. I can't begin to describe the things. I'm trying not to give you ideas as to what you should be investing in. Everyone kind of has their own course, if you will, to kind of get there. But there's nothing really stopping you except for you. We can be very detrimental sometimes to ourselves, not realizing that we can easily make it if we just kind of get off of our booties. Consistency. I would suggest having a money saving goal. This is why I mentioned the $500 a month to kind of put it into your head. Sometimes people say, I'm going to save money. It ends up being very sporadic. I'll put 50 away here. I'll put 12 away here. I'll put away 500. put away 15. It is kind of like, if you have a consistent goal, you also train yourself to know, I shouldn't be spending this money on crap. This has to go into my investment vehicle so that I'm not retiring at the age of 95. Set limits for yourself. Tell yourself exactly. This is also another really important thing as to what your time frame is. Everyone has a very different time frame. If you've never invested in a mutual fund, I used to invest in mutual funds years ago. Not that they are terrible, simply I have other things to invest in. A lot of them have they're mutual funds like specifically for retirement, where they say like, when do you expect you would like to retire? 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, depending on what year. And they'll kind of set you up in that thing. So like the time frame is very important. Do you want to have 100,000 in 5 years? Time to start, turn off the video and time to start saving right now. There's no time to waste. 10 years? You have a bit more time. You can definitely do it. 20 years? You have even more time. So you don't even have to put that 500 away every single month. It can be a lot less. It's kind of about where you fit in that time frame. Are you trying to retire in 20 years? You have a lot more time. It's kind of just how it goes. The last thing, and I cannot do this for you as I am not where you are, would be to learn about taxes. We went over this in another video as well. There are many things and many places in the world, many different investment vehicles. If you have an investment for over a year, usually 366 days, you then pay lower taxes on it when you or should you decide to sell. If you learn the tax code for where you live, you can figure out that a lot of ways that you're probably making money right now can also be taxed less. This also gives you extra money to be able to put into your pocket, to put into these investment vehicles to be able to make the $100,000 portfolio. It's not difficult. I know it sounds difficult. It sounds daunting. Maybe make smaller goals for yourself. Make your goal, I want to save $10,000. I went over this before in another video. There were tons of people, they were asking in a survey, if there was an emergency for $300, would you have that $300? And nearly all the respondents said, no, I don't have $300. If you don't have $300, you probably don't have $5,000 or $10,000. Imagine if you worked diligently for the next 3 years to put away enough money that in 3 years you had an extra $10,000 and there was an emergency or you were actually able to cover it. It's just about starting. There's no real magic to any of this. It's just mathematics, and it's just starting and putting money away and consistently putting money away. Set a number for yourself every single month, set a time frame, and jump to it. There's nothing stopping you but you. I do hope you all enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the numbers. I wish you could all see the lists I have here. They look insane. There's a whole bunch of numbers and letters and things going all over the place. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.